Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new. I'm Leonna. I have a service dog in training named Athena. You can find all over my channel in a bunch of different videos. I will try and leave like a playlist in the cards, but I don't know if I'll remember to. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video. So something that I've been like super big on my channel is college experience with a service dog. And part of my college experience was raising a puppy in a dorm. So for anybody that doesn't know or doesn't remember, I got Athena somewhere between 4 and 5 months, meaning she was between 12 and like 15 weeks. I can't remember exactly how old she was. I know it was like under 16 months. So it's definitely like, as I said, max of 15 weeks, but I think it was under that. So my experience is slightly different just because she wasn't an 8-week-old puppy that I brought in. And she did have some prior training due to being in a home type environment for about a month, a little bit over, a little bit over a month before she came to me. So just slightly different. I didn't have to go through the house training process because she came to me house trained, but I did have to go through obviously basic training and to the advanced level that she is now. I will say that around 6-7 months, 6.5 to 7 months, somewhere in there. No, so I got her January, so March. So yeah, like 7-ish months. We did end up leaving campus completely due to COVID. So it wasn't like I raised her like fully. Because if we had stayed on campus until this summer, then I think she would have been like 9-10 months, somewhere around there ish, give or take. I'm kind of like guessing ages. I don't have it like written down, but anyways, so it's that kind of thing, but that kind of gives you guys a timeline, and I just figured I'd say my experience, offer any advice for anybody that needs to go through the same thing or is going to go through the same thing, just because I know it can be a lot, especially being a college kid. So first off, I want to say that not having to house train her helped a ton, and the fact that she is an extremely quick learner helped a lot. Also, having professors that fully understood and were like, I don't care kind of thing, as well as not having a ton of classes, all kind of balanced into my experience. I took 5 classes last semester, so I did take 16 hours because I had a lab in there also. So it's not like I didn't take a ton, but I took like the normal amount. But I only had those classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then my lab was late Tuesday. And then all of my professors knew what was going on and were like completely fine with her coming to class before she understood like staying in a downstay or, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyways, gosh. Okay, so first off, I got her on a weekend, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, kind of in there. I know it was the very beginning of the weekend. So I had 2 full days at least with her of getting her accustomed to being in my dorm. I will say she settled in a lot easier because it was just going from one home environment to another home environment. I think it would have been very different if, say, she had been like in a shelter environment, like the stereotypical shelter environment where you've got like 2-3 dogs in one kennel and they're all, grouped together, and there's, 80 dogs at least in the area, that kind of thing. I think it would have been vastly different. But that wasn't the scenario for her. So she didn't need a ton of time to decompress. She just kind of moved in and was like, I'm in a new house. So basically settled in here for the first 2 days, and then worked on basics, that kind of stuff. Obviously didn't have like a perfect downstay or anything even remotely close to a perfect downstay, but I did take her to classes on Monday. I did email my professors and I didn't attend the classes like in person that were okay to skip. I don't think I attended, I think I skipped, or not skipped, but I don't think I attended 2 classes, maybe 3. I don't remember exactly, for that very first day. So I only did, 2, maybe 3 classes in person that day, and it was professors that were like, look, like, you know, this is material you can't miss in person, that kind of thing. Like, reading it online isn't going to be the same thing, so you need to be here. And I was like, look, you know, new puppy kind of thing, just my schedule was going to be best if she started accompanying me. And then specifically what she tasks for, it was a scenario of she needed to be with me like as much as possible so she could kind of start picking up on stuff. So I ended up taking both her and Aries to class the first week. This isn't something I'd recommend for everybody. As I said, my experience is completely different than if you come in with an 8-week-old puppy that has absolutely no training. So yeah, anyways, brought her in. She knew down and actually ended up sleeping for the majority of both classes. She did wake up, I think like once in the middle of one of my classes, and was like, you know, what's going on, that kind of thing, and just kind of wanted some attention. And then when I corrected and was like, you know, lay back down, you know, that kind of thing, she was like, I just kind of did it. And I think the biggest aspect of her just being able to like settle in, pick up on it, and do as good as she did was also, as I said, past training. And then also Aries just going and laying down and going to sleep is pretty much what he did in class, and then he'd like get up and alert if needed. And she kind of just watched him and did what he did. So yeah. Alright, okay, editing me jumping in, because I realized that I worded stuff really weird in this and figured it'd probably be a good idea to clarify. So it's not like Athena didn't make mistakes when she came in. She didn't like come in perfect, and it's almost what it sounds like when I was like editing and realized this. So I do want to say she did like whine and just be a puppy, okay, and made like quite a few mistakes. I'm not trying to make my dog sound amazing or like she was a little angel when she came home, because she wasn't. She still isn't a little angel. Half the time I want to throw her in a dumpster and be done with her. Obviously I'm not going to, because, you know, I love her. But yeah, just figured I'd share that it's not like she came home and was perfect, but she did have some pretty good basics down already. So I just was retraining how I wanted stuff, as well as just kind of like, you know, reinforcing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope that clarified some stuff. And if anybody has like questions on it, don't be afraid to ask, or like message me on Instagram or anything like that, and I'll try and clarify a bit more, because I'm like, I just want to make sure that it's clear. She did act like a puppy, and it was just a case of like my professors were cool with it. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and return to the video. As I said, that's not something I'd recommend for everybody. It was just what I could do. It was how my professors were, it was how my schedule was and everything else. And they were cool with it and everything. I labeled her as in training, made it very clear to like my groups in the class, or like to the like, you know, whole class if need be, just depending on how the actual lecture was set up, and everything else. So everybody was really respectful. It all, as I said, worked out, and was good. I did make sure that she slept in her crate. For dining, I did not just dive in and take her to a dining hall. That was not something I was down for. We attempted the restaurants on campus first, and once she was doing really, really good in those, we did the dining hall, just because I wasn't about to throw her into that environment. And even with her doing amazing in the restaurants on campus, she still kind of struggled when we got in the dining hall, but now she's a pro at it, and she was a pro before we left campus, just because she kind of figured out what she was supposed to do. It then went on to labs were something else. So I wasn't in like a chemistry lab or something, I was in an astronomy lab. So a lot of it was just like, you know, sit with like one person or even by yourself and like do this thing on the computer or look at this diagram and, you know, figure this out. And that made things easy. So I went ahead and did that. And she joined me after talking to the TA that was in charge, and they being like, yeah, I mean, you know, it was kind of like it was a chemistry or biology or something, then I probably would have had one of my really close friends watch her and go. But with the scenario of how the lab was, she was able to accompany me. And before anybody asked, the only reason I said one of my close friends instead of like my boyfriend was he had lab at the exact same time as me. So obviously having lab at the same time means he couldn't have watched her. So yeah, that was a thing. And then, so there's that. I did a ton of training. I will say like my whole schedule was like school and training, and that was it pretty much. Social life was kind of gone. For socializing, being on a college campus means that she was socialized to a ton of stuff while she was here, but I will say it was thanks to like COVID and quarantine and all that kind of stuff. And when it occurred with her life, it did end up affecting our socializing somewhat, just because of, as I said, timing and everything else. However, I think if we had been able to stay on campus for the rest of the semester, like until the end of the semester with everything being normal, obviously like that would have been no pandemic kind of thing, then I think it would have helped a ton. And I feel like she would have been better socialized than a lot of other dogs just because of everything that pops up on a college campus. I mean, we have ducks running around, chickens running around, we've got, you know, a museum right here, we have, you know, restaurants, we have random little fairs, that kind of stuff, and all that. And it's just like that scenario and just campus life, it leads to a lot of socializing opportunities and just about everything that I can think of off the top of my head that I'd socialize a dog to can either be found on campus or like right around campus. So that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's that. It's, you know, as I said, I will admit it's not easy. It's not something that I'd recommend, and honestly, if you can avoid having to raise a puppy on campus, do so. So say like if you are able to get your dog like this summer before, then do the summer. And I mean, you know, it's kind of like that gives you what, 3 months at least of time to really like be there with your dog and only focus on your dog. It's also a case of if say something happens and it's like second semester, then it may be a good option to take like a semester off, that kind of thing, like with medical leave, so you have the whole semester to work with your dog, or go like full online so you kind of work on your own schedule. Obviously that depends. Personally, I didn't have the option to just leave her in the dorm, was another scenario. So I did have one lab where we had to go to the observatory really late at night, so it was dark and everything else, and I did like handling 2 dogs was not an option. So Aries was obviously the one to come with me because he was fully trained and had actually done it the semester before with my boyfriend because he had been in the same class the semester before. And we had like tagged along with him kind of thing. So yeah, that kind of thing. And I left Athena for those couple of hours with my literally like closest friends and most trusted friends outside of my boyfriend kind of thing, and let them watch her, and all was good. I mean, it was taking her outside and, you know, playing with her, and then she slept most of the time because it was late. So yeah, that's something. I will say, if you have the option to like leave them in your dorm, I do highly suggest that. I personally don't. Like, that's something that was not okay with my dorm. They didn't want me to do that, so I was like, okay, you know, I won't in that scenario. When I say leave them in a dorm, I mean like in a crate, you know, that kind of thing. And as I said, it wasn't something that was okay for me. And definitely don't dive in, don't push them. If your professors aren't okay with them coming to classes, then I'm sorry, like it's just, and you know, if it's one of those things where like your professors aren't okay with it and your dorm's not okay with them staying there, then you need to figure out how to be virtual or to take a medical leave, or don't get your puppy at that point. Or send them to like a board and train or something where they're able to be worked with at the level that you need for, you know, a month, and then bring them back, and hopefully they're ready to attend classes at that point. Obviously, if you do like I do, where you have like only classes on, say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because that's my schedule, I have classes that are like back to back to back. So it's a case of oftentimes a puppy's not going to be able to lay there for, you know, 3-4 hours on end, depending on how your schedule is, with, you know, a 10-minute walk in between, and that's it. It's just not something that's feasible. I think that for when you go to classes, the biggest thing is bringing like an antler or a nylabone or some other chew, or a toy that has no squeakers in it. I suggest a placemat of some sort, so they figure out like this is where you're supposed to sleep. Curl up in this area, don't move, and train that in your dorm as well. All that kind of stuff. I think coming back, I mean, as I said, Athena's a year old now, and coming back to campus, I was expecting her just after quarantine, because with my illnesses, I didn't go out. I mean, like I went out for a couple of things that were like essential outings, say like to the grocery store, and it was a case of like, out of the people in my household, I was the best option for running in kind of thing. And it was like an in and out. And that was if like we needed something and say like a curbside wasn't going to be available for like a week. So we, you know, I'd run in and grab the crap that we needed, and then like we'd still schedule the curbside, that kind of stuff. Or I did go in a couple of times when I was doing my dorm shopping, and there was some stuff I needed that they didn't offer for curbside or for delivery. So I went ahead and ran into the store for those things. But that kind of stuff. But it was majority of staying inside and working on training at the house. But training in the house versus in public are two different things. There are some things here and there that she slacks on, like she does vocalize every once in a while when she's off duty, and it's mostly when she's playing, and I'm like, you can't do that in the dorm, you know, that kind of thing. And I mean, it was really bad like the first couple of days, and then she was kind of like, oh wait, you know, we're not home. Because when we're home, I really don't care if they bark while they're playing. I mean, it's a dog thing to do. So it's just transitioning the you can't bark here, so don't kind of thing. But yeah. So anyways, as far as like supplies, I did do a full puppy supply haul when I first got her, which I will try and link. If you guys want like puppy essentials for in a dorm, then let me know down below and I can film that video as well, because there are definitely things that were in like my haul that aren't essential, and there's things that were in there that are, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyways, as I said, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of time. And it's kind of like if you can avoid having to raise a puppy in a dorm, I do suggest it. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope this helps anybody. And if there's any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below as per usual. And if you guys have any video requests, also leave them down below. So anyways, yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye.